AP photo. The NBA trade deadline is almost 3 weeks away. The Boston Celtics aren't expected to be very active at the deadline, mostly because Danny Ainge is hoarding his assets for an all-or-nothing run at Anthony Davis. There's a possibility he'll tinker around edges, but there's a much great chance that it's something another team does at the deadline that will have a bigger impact on Boston. Here are 5 scenarios to watch at the trade deadline that could have the biggest impact. 1. Will the Toronto Raptors try to consolidate its bench talent? The Raptors have a 7-game lead on Boston as of today, and are jockeying with the Milwaukee Bucks for the top seed. Last season, their bench mob was among the most feared reserve units in the NBA. This year brought a shift in some personnel, and a shift in the overall production. Lineups tend to shrink in the playoffs, with starters' minutes bumped up and some decently productive members of the bench relegated to DNP-CDs. The Raptors also have a checkered playoff history, which they are eager to shed, and a newly acquired superstar in Kawhi Leonard whom they are eager to keep. The Raptors could look at packaging some of that good bench depth for a better single player with the hopes of gearing up for a deep playoff run. Their push to improve on an already good team and make finals push around Kawhi could be something that pushes him to pull a Paul George, spurn Los Angeles, and stay in the North for the next 5 years. That would put a significant obstacle in Boston's way, especially since the East seemingly opened up after the departure of LeBron James from Cleveland. With Giannis Antetokounmpo in the conference promising to be a major hurdle for the foreseeable future, the Raptors making a move at the deadline that influences Leonard to stay in Toronto would make the future all the more difficult for the Celtics. Will the Philadelphia 76ers make a move to address its chemistry issues? Philadelphia has put itself in a bit of a bind. In a nutshell, the post-processed Sixers have shifted into more of a win-now mentality, looking for a big payoff on all those years of losing and asset acquisition. They gave Boston a draft pick to move up 2 spots to pick Markelle Fultz, and that's been a disaster so far. So much so, they gave up 2 very important pieces in Dario Saric and Robert Covington to acquire the star player Fultz couldn't beat. Jimmy Butler hasn't lived up to everyone's expectations either, and his fit so far has been about as good in Philly as that suit I bought off a clearance rack at the Rent-Them outlets. In theory, it was a good idea, but something feels off about it, and now some in Philadelphia are hoping to pull the plug quickly. With a 5-year, $190 contract stated them in the face, the Sixers should consider trading Jimmy Butler. Happy Sunday. Go Birds. https://t.co/tmmmacrocky9. Spike Skin, at Spiky Skin, January 13, 2019.